The Great Fire of London begins. What began as a small fire quickly turned catastrophic, spreading to nearby Thames Street. There, warehouses packed with combustibles, tallow, lamp oil, spirits, and coal ignited while strong easterly winds drove the blaze into a roaring inferno. By the time the fire was finally contained on September 6th, more than 4/5 of London had been reduced to ashes. Remarkably, only 16 deaths were officially recorded. The disaster had long been in the making. 17th-century London was a dense warren of medieval houses, built primarily from oak timber, with many poor dwellings covered in tar to keep out damp, making them dangerously flammable. Narrow streets and tightly packed homes created the perfect conditions for fire to spread. Firefighting methods were primitive, relying on bucket brigades and hand pumps, and though residents were urged to safeguard their homes, lapses in care were common. On the night of September 1st, Fariner neglected to fully extinguish his oven before bed. Around midnight, sparks from the smoldering embers set nearby firewood ablaze. Within minutes, his home was engulfed. Fariner, his family, and a servant escaped through an upstairs window, but a bakery assistant perished, becoming the first known victim. Sparks carried by the wind quickly set fire to the stables of the nearby Star Inn, before racing toward the warehouses on Thames Street. Explosions from flammable stores turned the fire into an uncontrollable monster. Londoners soon abandoned efforts to fight the blaze, and instead fled with their families and possessions. Many sought safety along the Thames, while others camped on the hills surrounding the city. The summer had been hot and dry, and the relentless wind only fueled the flames. Authorities attempted to halt the fire by demolishing houses to create fire breaks, but the blaze advanced faster than they could work. Light from the fire could be seen 30 miles away. On September 5th, the flames finally began to weaken, and by September 6th the fire was under control, though not before reigniting briefly in the legal district, where gunpowder demolitions finally smothered it. In total, the Great Fire consumed some 13,000 houses, nearly 90 churches, and countless public buildings. The medieval St. Paul's Cathedral and numerous other landmarks were lost, and around 100,000 people were left homeless. King Charles II swiftly began efforts to rebuild, commissioning architect Sir Christopher Wren to design a new St. Paul's and dozens of churches surrounding it. Building regulations were also reformed. New structures had to be made of brick or stone, streets widened, and narrow alleyways eliminated. Still, it would be over a century before London established a permanent fire brigade. A monument to the fire was erected in the 1670s near Pudding Lane. Known simply as the monument, the 202-foot column likely designed by Robert Hooke, though some credit, Wren features engravings and sculpture retelling the tragedy. Although an inquiry attributed the disaster to a dry season, high winds, and the hand of God, the column originally bore an inscription blaming Catholic conspirators, a claim removed in 1830. In 1986, more than 3 centuries later, London's bakers formally apologized for their role. At a ceremony on Pudding Lane, the Worshipful Company of Bakers unveiled a plaque acknowledging Thomas Fariner's oven as the spark that set London ablaze in 1666.